In 2025, Mercedes will be without the seven-time world champion Lewis Hamilton, who is leaving for Ferrari. Wolff has been vocal about his desire to replace Hamilton with three-time world champion Max Verstappen. Since his first Formula One championship in 2021, which ended a heated rivalry between the Red Bull and Mercedes camps, and with Max's father Jos implying that the relationship between the Verstappens and Wolff had taken a permanent hit, Verstappen has grown into Formula One's dominant force. Contrary to what you might expect, Wolff insisted that this was not the case. He claimed to have had conversations with Max and Jos, acknowledged his mistakes in the rivalry, and stated that they have decided to put the past behind. This removes a potential big obstacle to a union between Verstappen and Mercedes. Max, Jos and I have talked about it and everything has been said, Wolff told the Mirror. I think we have always had respect for each other, and Jos and I also have the same kind of humour. I think the most important thing is that we both don't like... Jos knows more about racing than I do, and what about Max? Maybe I know a bit more about running an organisation. It's unfortunate that there were those moments of rivalry, but maybe they would have acted that way too if they were in my position, and I will always defend my own driver. Looking back on that whole year, 2021, it is clear that I made some mistakes. In the way I dealt with some things, I cannot reverse that. If you look at Max's last 2 years, there is no one even close to him. As a driver, you also can't do it without a good car, engine and team around you. Max is in that position now. Verstappen got off to a great start in Formula One 2024, leading Red Bull to 1-2 results in Bahrain and Saudi Arabia. However, he will be looking to get back on track at the Japanese Grand Prix, following a disappointing DNF in Australia caused by failed brakes. Even though he didn't score in Australia, Verstappen is still 4 points ahead of Ferrari's Charles Leclerc for the Drivers' Championship. The wild off-track drama involving Verstappen's current team has made his future an unexpected topic of talk at the beginning of this season, despite the fact that he is under contract with Red Bull until the end of 2028. In Bahrain, Max Verstappen's father Jos got into an argument with Red Bull team principal Christian Horner. Then, in Saudi Arabia, Max hinted that the removal of Helmut Marko from the team would affect his future. In addition, Verstappen's contract includes a Marko clause that gives him the right to resign early in the event that the 80-year-old retires. Despite assertions that the youthful Red Bull engine project is behind Ferrari and Mercedes, all of this has stoked conjecture that Verstappen would succeed Hamilton at Mercedes in 2025, before to significant adjustments to the power unit rules. No one is more important than the team, according to Horner, who hinted at calling Verstappen's bluff in Jeddah by suggesting that everyone, including star driver Verstappen, would be free to leave if they wanted to. Wolff has gone to great lengths to welcome the driver his team battled so fiercely with in 2021, Max Verstappen, as events have unfolded. With Lewis Hamilton's departure to Ferrari at the conclusion of 2024, a slot will become vacant alongside Russell at Mercedes. One candidate from the left side of the infield is Kimi Antonelli, and there is also Fernando Alonso to consider. Wolff has also suggested Carlos Sainz, Hamilton's replacement at Ferrari, as a potential contender. Wolff, on the other hand, ranks Verstappen first. Tell me who you would pick. Wolff has said publicly on many occasions that he is interested in Verstappen in the event that he does really decide to leave Red Bull. His remarks during an interview with Fox Sports Australia at last weekend's Australian Grand Prix were a hot topic, however. We have a slot free, the only one in the top teams, unless Max decides he goes, and the slot is not going to be free with us anymore. Asked if he is Mercedes' number one pick, Wolff said, "Yes, you see what his performance levels are. But I wouldn't want to discount the other ones too. We've got to look at ourselves and say, what is it that we can do with this car? And then it becomes much easier for whoever drives the second car, much easier for George, because he has the potential of being a world champion. And it's much more the team's problem to solve than really looking for a silver bullet with an amazing driver." Wolff said that he doesn't think the team's fortunes will change with Verstappen at the wheel at the moment, due to the W15's exciting but difficult to unleash potential. "No, I think he's extraordinary, but we would give him a car that's a handful and difficult to set up and drive," he said. "I'd rather make that step and be out there and say, this is a car you could drive because it's also going fast." Wolff acknowledged that he would likely wait until the summer before making a definitive choice on who will replace Lewis Hamilton, continuing his already clear stance on the matter. This is due to the fact that there are several alternatives to consider. Although we were surprised by Lewis's swift decision, I want to proceed at my own pace now, he said. There is a spot available on the top teams that we may use, but if Max chooses to leave, we will no longer have that spot available. From the youngest, most promising stars to the most seasoned veterans, we have a few intriguing choices. No, it won't take place in the near future. I intend to keep an eye on the market. However, Russell's performance will not play a role in the decision-making process. This is because Mercedes will not be looking for a driver with proven experience. Instead, they will be deciding whether to take a chance with a younger driver like Kimi Antonelli, who is still a Formula 2 junior. No, Russell's a bank. He's having that seat. He's been part of our junior program for a long time. The reason why is because he's great, so it's about the second seat. I think it depends also on what Max does. Then we have a young kid that is very promising, and I don't want to put more extra pressure on him, but it looks like he can be one of the great ones. But we also don't want to drown him by jumping so quickly in an F1 car at 17. So there are a few options that we play with him. Obviously there's Fernando Alonso, who is very exciting, and Carlos Sainz is very good. So there are a few ones. I'm going to make the play like a bride, difficult to get. Whether Verstappen accepts an offer from Mercedes and Toto Wolff to switch teams is the main concern. Wolff is right when he says that producing a vehicle that would appeal to every driver on the grid is the only way to get Verstappen in. Although this may be an ambitious request, they are making progress in identifying the core issue. Mercedes has admitted that inadequate simulation models could be the cause of the strange performance fluctuations of its 2024 Formula 1 vehicle. Despite hopes of making up ground throughout the winter, it has yet to secure a podium result this season and is 30 points below where it was in 2023 after 3 races. This was brought up in Wednesday's team post-race debrief by technical director James Allison. We are starting to see a pattern emerge that most weekends we have a period in the weekend where we are feeling good about the car, confident about the car, but then in the paying sessions, in qualifying and the race, that slips through our fingers, he said. And if we were trying to draw that pattern together, then probably the strongest correlation that we can make at the moment is that our competitiveness drops when the track is warm, when the day is at its warmest, and therefore the tyre temperatures rise with those of the track. Wolff's comment suggested that Mercedes was beginning to realise that their problems could be caused by a difference between their wind tunnel results and the actual world. But here, I don't think we are missing something. It is just a complication of what's happening with the car that we can't see. And it's like an on-off switch. And then you see all the progress that McLaren and Ferrari have made. And this is the difference between last year and this year. What do you think? Will Toto Wolff accomplish this deal? Getting another world champion to the team? Let us know in the comments down below.